Hello everybody, it's your Proftrof. We're back again with another Penguins video. This is Logan Paul vs Floyd Mayweather. Was sad. Okay, first off, before we start, I watched the fight. I did not pay for the fight. Listen, I live in Bulgaria, okay? Stuff happens here, and we don't ask too many questions. I watched the fight. It was absolute garbage. 8 rounds. Logan landed like, what was it, like fucking 15 punches. Mayweather landed like 40 punches. Only like 10, 15 of those were significant. They weren't that significant. He's like 15 kilos less than the dude. There was a lot of hugging. I don't know. At one point, I thought I was watching, homoerotic thing, but it
I'm
wasn't.
one of those idiots
Weird.
that bought tickets to go see the
Oh, that's 50 euro down the drain.
Logan Paul versus
Yikes.
Floyd Mayweather fight, and I'm pretty ashamed of it. I said pretty recently that the worst purchase I've ever made in my life was a $200 pocket trumpet. Yeah, that's been absolutely eclipsed by
The fuck is a...
this purchase. I bought seats for me and my friends to go and just kind of goof around and have fun.
Oh, it went
And I
live?
thought it'd at least be an entertaining spectacle.
Oh,
And
that was probably
admittedly,
expensive as hell.
everything leading up to the fight was kind of fun. But the fight itself was the most miserably boring experience I think I've ever sat through. I would have rather
What do you mean? You don't want to watch two men hug each other for 8 3-minute rounds, brother?
gone to a spelling bee.
Come on.
I had more fun
With
falling
Mayweather?
asleep on the
don't
Uber
think
to
you
the
can spell,
arena
bro.
than I did at the actual fight. We drove 4 hours from Tampa to Miami to see it, and I would have rather driven
4
hours
hours?
to a fucking library. The fight was so bad. I know Floyd Mayweather is considered the greatest fighter of all time, but he's easily the most boring fighter to ever live in the history of our species, dating all the way back
Kinda
to
true.
like the
He's a
BC
point fighter,
era before
of course.
Christ, when they were like slapping each other and they didn't know how to make like a fist because they were too dumb. That was probably more fun to watch than Mayweather in the ring.
Brother.
I've seen a total of 4 of his fights now, and all 4 of them are some of the most awful sporting memories I have. I have more fond memories of getting bullied at the football tryouts in high school. Those are happier moments in sports for me than
watch a
watching
Mayweather
Mayweather's fights. It's so boring. And this fight, if you can even call it a fight, was mainly just Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather hugging a lot and then accidentally slipping a wet noodle strike somewhere to the body.
Yes.
And maybe even like an over-the-pants hand job occasionally when they were really wrapped
Yes.
up. It was awful. Luckily, I
Absolute
didn't
trash.
spend too much money to like sit on floor seats. Those cucks absolutely got blasted financially for no reason. So we were up a little bit. It was still way more money than should ever rightfully be spent at a Mayweather fight. So we arrived at our seats with our spirits and cocks high, expecting at least something enjoyable to laugh at
Erect.
and goof around with. And that is not at all what we got.
No.
I will say though, I was impressed with Logan Paul. At least he was doing something. Mayweather, this is all you'll see.
Well, no, hey, listen, come on, you can't say... Okay, the reason he's saying that is because Logan, the first 2 rounds, he was throwing a lot of shots. Problem is, Mayweather wasn't, and he was defending. So those shots were not landing. He was throwing a lot of them. They weren't landing. After the first 2 rounds, he was fucking exhausted. Which is, I mean, it's a normal Mayweather fight. No, not
See, and
surprised
then
there.
occasionally some of this and some of that on the cheek of Logan when they get tied up together in the Kama Sutra positions in the ring. But at least Logan was like kind of constantly moving his arms, like throwing them a little bit. Kind of looks like some kind of aerobic.
he wasn't
shit
doing a
that
lot
he's
of that
doing
after
for
the 4th
80s
round, was he?
VHS tape. But at least he was trying to throw punches. I was half expecting him to go in there like a child, cartoonishly waving his arms like this, going for those kind of attacks. But we didn't see that. We saw something close, but not quite that. And I prefer that as opposed to Mayweather's technique of trying to bore the entire audience to death. When we went there, of course, the entire crowd was pretty much against Logan, and everyone was cheering for Mayweather. By the end of it, they were booing Mayweather and cheering Logan. Like, the people that were pretty close to us were huge Mayweather fans. They were so excited. Every time Mayweather moved his arm, they were going, whoa! And then by the end, anytime Mayweather moved, they started booing him because they were so bored.
Jesus.
And the shit was way too expensive to go to this fucking thing. They should have
How much
paid
was
you
it?
to be there to
How
make
much
it
was
look
it?
crowded. Fuck, it was bad.
I know.
And now I've already
Online tickets were like $50, like to watch the fight online, like to buy the fight. I don't
seen
know
the
what it's
Big
called.
Boxing Enthusiast. Wow, what an incredible display from Mayweather. Able to really wear out his opponent and show just how much better he is.
He did that though.
Yeah, maybe to like a hardcore boxing nerd, that's cool, but to everyone else, that's so
Yeah, it was
fucking
garbage.
boring. His
It was fucking
dodges,
trash.
super impressive, great. And you know what would have been even better? If
he
he
hit him.
returned with some punches, like a counterattack or anything, besides just moving around. Like, it's fucking boring. It's supposed to be a fight, not a dance. Like, goddamn. Yes, it is impressive. I completely agree. But it is also extraordinarily unfun to watch in every capacity.
Absolutely true.
So if this is truly what boxing is, then boxing fucking sucks.
Well, this is what Mayweather boxing is. By the way, at the end of the fight, I think the stats were some crazy shit. Like, I think Logan threw like 250 punches, and he had like 20. And Mayweather threw like 80 punches for those whole 8 rounds, and he landed like 40 of them.
I haven't watched boxing
wild.
outside of the big Mayweather fights over the last few years with like Manny Pacquiao and all that. And they have always, since I started watching, been this boring.
True.
This to a different level, though. This was even more
I haven't watched
boring
many
than the others. This
Mayweather
was
fights, but yeah.
exceptionally awful. You could probably count the amount of punches that landed on a single hand. And I know there's this big, conspiracy is the wrong word, but a lot of people seem to think that Mayweather actually did KO Logan and then held him up in order to let him go the distance for more money.
What?
I don't necessarily believe that. He did land like a punch
he landed some
on
decent
Logan,
punches.
and then Logan kind of like drunkenly stumbled on top of him and hugged him, and Mayweather just kind of hugs him as well pretty tight, and it looks like Logan's kind of like limp-dicked, but I don't think he was knocked out. I think he was just really tired. Like, he looked extremely tired for half the fight, and Mayweather just looked extremely bored, kind of like
threw
the
too many
entire
punches
audience.
after the first 2 rounds.
So I don't think
was
he
out
got
after
knocked
that
out
shit.
and was held up like Weekend at Bernie's. I don't think that's what happened. I think the hit landed and Logan immediately just went right back in for a hug in order to stop it, which
jeez.
I guess makes sense, but it fucking sucked. Overall, the entire event was awful. Miami is a complete and utter disaster of a city. We were stuck trying to leave the stadium for over 2 hours because Ubers don't know how to fucking get to the stadium. And the way they have it set up is like single file lines out of the stadium onto the middle of the fucking street, hoping
It's like
people
a
get
movie
hit by
theater.
cars. It was a horrible system, which I guess makes sense. It's about par for the course considering how horrible the fight was. It was a nice little shit cherry on top of the diarrhea cake. Overall, I'd do it again. Yeah, fuck yeah. Let's. I can't wait for the next YouTuber boxing match. I will say, at the very least, Jake Paul's fights are not boring. At least there's like some action there, and he's got that pure psychopath energy, so he's coming in like fucking full throttle. This was like going to the geriatrics ward and watching them like try and rekindle an old rivalry.
Okay. Quick thing. I think people are giving Mayweather too much shit. Listen, Logan was 15 kilos more than him. He was a fucking head and a half more than him. When I was watching the fight and they were like in their stances, you're a little crouched down, it was like a toddler fighting their dad. I was like, brother, this shit don't look right. So I can kind of understand why he was even more cautious than usual. Like, the dude was huge compared to him. If y'all see at the end where they were doing the, the talks and they were like standing up near each other, I was like, what the hell? There's like 5 weight classes between them.
It just felt sad.
It don't make sense.
And it was even worse considering we spent money to be there.
Yeah.
It's not fun. Wasn't fun. Was a bad fight that I don't think anyone's overly happy with. I know Floyd said that it was mainly just supposed to be entertainment. It completely failed in that.
Another thing, I didn't know this before I watched the fight. It wasn't a fight. It's an exhibition. And technically it's a fight, but it's an exhibition. So it doesn't count to anything. Loss, win, it don't count for shit. I don't think there is even a winner or a loser. It was an exhibition.
Aspect.
It was more serious than that.
I think this is the worst possible entertainment. It would have been more entertaining if they entered the ring and then just started urinating on the crowd. I would have rather gone into the arena. They locked the doors and light the arena on fire. Would have been more fun than watching this match. God, it was fucking awful. We also filmed ourselves live reacting to the fight, kind of like a Mystery Science Theater thing, but you can't see the fight, obviously. I don't know if we'll release that. I haven't watched it back yet. The audio is probably pretty fucking awful. But if the audio's, not terrible, maybe we'll release it and it'll be the saddest reaction to anything ever. It's just us being extremely underwhelmed. And you can kind of see it go from like excitement in the first round of the whole arena kind of going pretty ecstatic and like, yeah, time for a cool fight. and then it starts just descending further and further into boredom, and then people start leaving. So in the video, you'll see a bunch of people behind us just fucking evacuating
Before the
as
end?
if it was a fire drill. Like by the sixth or seventh round, there was half of the people there that it started with. And since the arena was already at half capacity for COVID protocol, it looked like a fucking barren wasteland. It was like something out of an old western. I was half expecting tumbleweed to go through the ring. Like, it was sad. From happiness to like...
You can't have the tumbleweed in the middle of the ring because they're gonna hug it.
A crescendo of sadness. Just a pure fucking plummet. Yeah. Again, I don't know if we'll release that because the audio might not be good. But if it is, yeah, sure, post that at some point. Anyway, though, that's about it. So, yeah.
Well, I just realized he's wearing a black shirt. What the hell? So he went to the fight live. My God. Hey, listen. If y'all saw the fight, let me know what y'all think about. I mean, I pretty much assumed y'all were gonna think what everyone else thought about the fight was garbage. It was a lot. There was like 5 significant strikes or some shit. They were like actual, decent looking shots in the whole fight. I don't know. It was very doo-doo. Anyway, if you want to see more Penguins reactions by your boy, playlist is up here. Quick thank you to the YouTube members and Patreons. Thank you all for the support. And I'll catch you all next time. Bye everybody. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.